Uh-oh.
Good work you're doing there.
You know, to be perfectly honest, this is one of the first times I've ever attempted to, process something I've read a lot about, studying archaeology, etc. Haven't really got a chance to try, but luckily we just got some deer hides donated.
Ah.
Sweet.
So this method of tanning here is probably one of the, it's probably the most common method being employed by the Eastern Woodlands.
Is that like a
folks
bone?
back then. Yep.
Yeah.
This is a tool called a beamer. Now the modern day ones are made out of metal, but back then, the indigenous folks, the Powhatans, they weren't using metal tools so much until after the Europeans show up. So they would use other resources to make their tools. So what we're doing here is we're removing the grain layer of the skin. That's the epidermis, and also part of the dermis. But this is the whole part of the skin that the hair is attached to.
Yeah.
And a little fun fact for you, on your leather jackets today, the epidermis is the layer of skin that gives it that kind of plasticky, rubbery outer coating.
Yeah.
So for the indigenous folks, they would be making more of a suede type of leather.
I used to work in a leather tannery.
Oh, really?
Up in Maine, yeah.
Have you ever tried brain tanning?
Brain?
Yeah, brain tanning.
No.
What did they do, like chrome tanning?
Chrome, yeah. They imported skin from Australia, New Zealand, lamb skin, and tried goat skin, but it was usually too thick to get very good leather out of.
Now, in a modern setting, do they flesh them by hand like this, or do they have machines?
They have fleshing machines, and they would also split the skins in order to get suede. And I don't know much about the process of that, but they'd take a normal thickness of skin and literally cut it half in two. We had this big monster fleshing machine, and it was wet. It was a wet job, and this guy was standing there all day feeding it into this machine that ground on it with these huge spinning metal blades. I ran a similar machine for a while. And we had tanning racks and buffers and all kind of stuff going on there. Way different than this.
Yeah.
Not nearly as peaceful either.
Yeah, another difference is, the actual tanning agent we're going to be introducing. This isn't going to be like an acid tan. What we're doing is we're actually using the brain of the animal.
Oh yeah?
So we're going to work those oils into the skin to loosen up the skin fibers and lubricate them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a different approach. But it's pretty interesting. We're going to take it, put it in a solution of deer brains and water. Because you want to use what's called an emulsified fat, one that's water soluble.
Yeah.
So deer brains is what the natives were using. If you don't have any deer brains hanging around, you could also use stuff like egg yolks. But anyway, then you're gonna work that solution into the hive, and then you want to really stretch it and work it and break up the fibers while it's drying. And then once it's dry, you smoke it over a fire. And that smoke is going to basically, I don't know the chemistry exactly, but it somehow bonds with the oils and the proteins in the skin and makes the process more permanent. And this is the toughest part right here, the neck.
Yeah. Save that for last.
Yeah. Looking at all the skins, I was sort of wondering if you guys get roadkill donations or something like that.
Well, the only way we can accept roadkill is if someone saw it get hit. So then we know exactly how fresh it is.
Yeah.
Sorry. But this one was actually donated by a local hunter.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I was kind of procrastinating this part is because there's a lot of, buckshot holes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see what we can do. Because, you fight for every square inch you can get.
All right. Well, thanks for letting us watch. What's your name?
My name's Corey.
Corey? Nice to meet you, Corey.
You too.
Would you object to being on YouTube?
Oh no.
Okay.